Sarah, I purchased your ceramic monoprinting tutorial last night on your Etsy shop because I
You,
was, of course,
you did.
preparing. And then I was watching it last night, like studying up, and it's absolutely fantastic. I actually don't buy many online technical trainings of ceramics.
Mm,
I don't know why, but so it was really like a new thing for me to view. And what I loved about it, what I was just telling you before, was that I think it's a great entry point for newbies and also for people who have actually a lot of experience.
mm,
So God, I've got so many questions for you. When you were planning to do this
mm,
online course,
mm-hmm.
online workshop,
Yep.
first and foremost, was it the first one you've done? And what were you really aiming to produce with it?
Yeah, so definitely my first one. So really, like, the whole thing was it was a real learning curve for me as well, because I've never done anything like that before. But I had been getting a lot of questions online from, on Instagram, from the reels that I'd been sharing, I guess. So people had a lot of questions, and people of all different, levels of skill. And so, yeah, a lot of newcomers to ceramics, and yeah. So I guess what I wanted to be able to do, and you can answer on Instagram, but to give a full, and guided kind of sort of what's the word I'm looking for, for the whole process, you needed to have something that was a bit more comprehensive than a reel on Instagram. So that's what I was wanting to do, and to be able to, share that information with people and make it easier, because it's a really fun process. And I think people were really just drawn to the process. I don't know what it is, whether it's, what's behind the paper. It sort of has this level of, even though you know what's behind the paper, it's an exciting process. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. And so I can see now that you were probably through the reels that you're doing on Instagram, you
Hmm.
do show a lot about your process and
Yeah.
like snapshots of it.
Yeah.
Was it your intention of all through doing that you would do an
No,
online?
no, no, no. I was just doing that because it was fun for me to do. I really enjoy making reels. That's not a big, some people hate it, but I actually really like it. And it's for my own enjoyment most of the time. So yeah, it wasn't the intention at all. It was just showing what I do in the studio every day. That was
Mm.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're so right that you can't, I mean, reels are a certain length, aren't they? How long are reels these
Oh,
days?
I think they've made them much, much longer now, and you can go on and on and on. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
just the ones that I was doing, 30 seconds sort of to a minute. But you can only fit so much into that time. So yeah. But I had been approached by an international, well, a publishing sort of company from abroad about writing an article on my process. And yeah, so I think that kind of got me thinking, and photographs and step-by-step kind of guided a written article. But it sort of got me thinking, well, maybe I can do that myself, and offer that, because I was getting at the same time that same sort of level of interest in what I was doing. Yeah.
And was that published, Sarah? That article that you did and the
No, I didn't do it. It got me going, well, maybe that's something that I can actually do myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so are you like a pro with the camera and recording?
Oh, no way. No, Amy, no. The whole process, honestly, the whole process of making the tutorial, I've been really happy with the finished, the finished sort of product, and also the response has been great from it. But the process actually was as valuable to me as the outcome, because it was a really interesting learning curve. I'm not particularly techie at all. I'd say I'm a bit of a Luddite, really, when it comes to technology. And I bumble my way through things, but I get there in the end. So yeah, there was a lot of learning along the way that I did, because I just had no idea kind of where to start with it. Yeah, so it was a really valuable thing to do, just as a personal learning thing, really. And I got a lot out of that. Yeah, there were lots of meltdowns, Amy. Lots
Oh
of
my
meltdowns.
God.
I'd hit a brick wall, you know, a technological brick wall, and just have a meltdown. And I was like, okay, no, pick yourself up. You can get through this. It'll be fine.
Where,
And
what was the meltdown about? Like the technical.
oh, different tech things. You know, my sort of um, you know, I'm not particularly good with tech. I used my phone for 7 years or longer to run my business. You know, everything that I do, my Etsy shop to filming my reels, it's all done on my phone, Amy. So, you know, my skill level with like computers and all that sort of stuff, it's really pretty limited. So there was a lot to, you know, when you're talking about digital files and this and that, and, you know, it was all just like, oh gosh, am I going to be able to learn this and do it? And yeah, but it worked out.
Wow, that's especially amazing and commendable when you're not tech sort of
No, I'm not.
natural, because there's so many steps involved, so many steps that I wouldn't even know about involved in making an online tutorial, from the filming of it, but then
Mm,
piecing it all together. And
mm,
so so you knew there was like an appreciation for your work and your process, and people
mm,
would respond well. But
mm.
how did you actually start? Like, did you storyboard it, or did you write out all the points of the process? What was your approach?
I guess, okay, just a little bit of background to, you know, how it sort of came to be, I guess, was that um, there were a few things sort of at the same time that kind of happened. So, you know, I'd had interest from a publishing sort of online publishing group that wanted to do that. Then I had lots of interest online. And then it came that there was a grant being offered by Southeast Arts, a micro grant for audience building. And, you know, the things that were happening, and then that being offered. And I thought, well, maybe that's something that I could use that will work for me. So I applied for the grant, and it was about audience building. The focus was for audience building, and it was only a small grant, $1,000 that could be used to put towards tech upgrades for online, or, you know, it could be used for lots of different things to build your audience. So I just happened to see that, and the applications were closing pretty soon, actually. There wasn't a whole lot of time, but I got my submission together and a proposal. It kind of just went, oh, you know, okay, I can apply for this, and I can step up from using my phone for everything and use that to upgrade my tech, and
Yeah.
I can do this. And yeah, so that was sort of a catalyst for doing it, you know, which was great, because you can have an idea about something and never follow through with it. You can kind of go, well, that's a really good idea, and then it just sort of sits in the back of your mind and nothing happens. But getting the grant was a catalyst for actually getting it done and doing it. So yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. I upgraded my tech. I bought this that we're looking on now, this nice little iPad Air with a little keyboard attachment, and that was used for the filming and editing of the tutorial.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Great.
Hmm.
Do you think you would have done it without being held accountable by the grant and and delivering on that?
Oh, I'm the world's biggest procrastinator, so you know, maybe I wouldn't have. Um, it was, yeah, it was definitely a catalyst for doing it, though. And it was quite an impulsive decision that I just acted on straight away, and I didn't give myself time to talk myself out of it, I guess. Yeah.
And when you got the grant, you knew you got that funding and you got the cool iPad and everything,
Yeah.
did you tell your following that I'm making this? Like, were you warming them up before you had sort of done it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, the whole idea around the grant, the focus was for audience building. So I made sure that my followers knew about it. and they were like, yeah, we've been waiting, you know, for this, so that's great. So I chose to sort of use my email account, my MailChimp contacts list, and people could register on that, and so they would be notified as soon as it was released. So, you know, I grew that from, I think, I didn't have a very big mail list at all. I think it was 100 or something, not very much. And, you know, that grew to over 1,000 once I'd sort of started saying, you know, this is what's happening, the release date is this, and yeah, if you want to be notified, sign up to my email. So yeah, that was sort of audience building in itself, really, because now they're on my MailChimp account.
That's amazing. From 100 to like 1,000, and like also to know that even before it's like in the can, as they say, like in Hollywood, that people want it.
Yeah, it was a good response. There was a demand there for it, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and so you got your equipment, and then where did you start? Like how did you like break it down? Because there's many steps along the process that you explain really well, and you break it down really well with even like the type of paper that you should be looking out for.
The
equipment that's useful in the studio. I mean, some scenes you're sort of further back, you can see you're demonstrating, and some are closer up and you're the work. Like,
I was really proud of being able to do that.
Oh my God. You make it look pretty easy. It actually looks very relaxed and easy. You look very natural too. You know, I don't see you sort of reading a script or anything.
No.
Yeah. What was your approach to it?
Okay, so I guess I wanted to keep it as natural as possible, and also as familiar to the people that would be watching it. So they're used to seeing me on Instagram, on Reels, in my studio. So I wanted that whole background and just the same vibe that I kind of had. There was no Nina Simone piping in, of course, in the background, but yeah, I just wanted to keep it as natural as possible, really. So the same setting that people are used to seeing anyway. So how did I start? I guess I broke it down into almost like chapters, I guess, of a book. You know, okay, well, we need to talk about this, we need to talk about that, and recognizing what the key kind of elements in the process were. I think a lot of people can try things, but there are certain things that you learn with practice, of course, and doing it repeatedly, that you learn, oh, that's a really important part of the process there, and is sort of essential for the success of, or the final result at least. So yeah, I broke it down into blocks of the tools and equipment, supplies, and then I did it. So I showed two different approaches to the process. So essentially I was repeating the same process twice, which I think was effective as well, because it kind of reinforced the first time watching it, and it reinforced those important points that you needed to do or have and be aware of. Yeah. So breaking it down into chapters was pretty much it. So and then filming each one of those, starting the next one, and then editing them. Yeah, but the filming was interesting because I didn't have any idea with filming how I was going to go about it, you know. And so I watched some people whose videos I really enjoy watching, like Craig Underhill in the UK. I really love his videos. I love how he does it. And my partner Aaron, he's a bit of a film buff, and I said, you know, come and look, like, just watch this. Like, it's like him, he's straight on here and he's doing this, but then it sort of goes to a side angle, and like it's the same, he's at the same point, but it's at a different viewpoint. How is he doing that? How does that happen? And Aaron said, well, he's using like multiple cameras there. And I was like, okay. So yeah, so then I sort of was like, okay, well, I can set my phone camera up here, my iPad camera up here, and film it at the same time. So you're pressing record at the same time, and then you're, you know, editing both lots of that footage. So you're taking front on view, and then you'll, you know, switch to a side view, but at the same time. Yeah, so that was really interesting. It really made me appreciate the whole film industry. Like, it gave me a whole new perspective on the film industry and the work that is actually involved in creating movies, because there's so much to it.
Yeah, you're right. We sort of watch a movie and
Yeah,
in the blink of like 10 seconds, there might be all these different angles showing the
that's
story.
right.
We don't really notice, oh, there must be a camera behind all of that, making it
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
It's seamless.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so then you had each chapter sort of earmarked. Did
Mhm.
you write out what you were going to say, or for each chapter, or you mainly just got it in your head and then you just did it live and fresh?
No, so I some of the, you would have noticed some of the footage was voiced over the top, and then I would sort of insert part of the original sort of talking as well, where I sort of spoke in parts when the camera was just filming, but a lot of it was voicing over. And I didn't really script that, you know, I just talked my way through it. You know, if you had somebody there with you, that sort of approaches, I guess, how I took it. And just being mindful of, like, you know, when like you're learning to drive and the person that's teaching you has been driving for like 30 years or something, and they do it second nature and don't necessarily tell you the things that are, oh, well, that's actually second nature to you, but I don't know that. So it's really a vital thing to know. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, making sure that those key points that were really vital, getting that across, yeah, in the voiceover, and, you know, the tips and tricks, sort of the text that comes up in the on the screen, you know, this is a tip, this is, you know, this is an important part. So I highlighted that with text on that particular part of the footage. Is that making sense?
Yeah, it does. And that works that worked really well as I was watching it, because it has like a dynamic nature to it then. It's not just you planted there for the whole 30 or so.
Yeah. Well, I think it would have been just terribly boring.
So too. I think so too.
It would have been terribly, terribly boring. There had to be more to it than that. But not so much that it wasn't, you know, that it was out of my capabilities, or that it wasn't something that I would have been, you know, naturally sort of my approach to it. I guess you have to sort of do it the way that you're comfortable with, and that, you know, that you can manage and that feels okay for you. Because it's a confronting kind of thing, you know, filming. Even this, Amy, like, it's torturous.
I don't worry. I'm already thinking about when I can do a second conversation with you.
No. But, you know, people like, and I'm certainly one of those people, that putting your face on the screen and hearing your own voice, for heaven's sake, it's just horribly confronting. So yeah, it's, you know, putting yourself out there as well.
Yeah. You had really good grounding with your Instagram and Reels, so you were used to, you know, sharing yourself, your presence, your face, you know, your personality. And I think that if you hadn't done that, then being on the screen filming your work,
totally,
would have been really hard.
But even getting to that point on Instagram, like, you know, it's taken a couple of years for me to, the first time I did it was just like, oh my goodness, why am I doing this? Or, you know, like, this just feels horrible, I can't do it. But, you know, you put yourself in uncomfortable sort of situations and you just move through it, I guess. And yeah, I'm glad. I think it just, you know, it's just more relatable for people, I guess, when you can just easily be yourself.
That's really what people want, like the real person. And people do want to see the person behind the work, hear the voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we are just our harshest critic, aren't we? You know, so many people I speak to, in one of the programs I run, we're doing introductions at the moment, and I say, practice your introduction, send it to me. And so many of them say, oh, I hate my own voice, and I really don't like this. And I'm saying, but you've got a beautiful voice. Like, I'm not laying it on. It's like, you've got a great voice, but we're just the harshest critic of ourselves and our voice. And
it's always that voice in your head, just like, oh, you know, nobody cares, don't worry. you know.
No, no one really. They're only looking at us for like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
And just
that's
like,
right. You know, you're on people's minds for about 5 seconds, and that's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so as you were filming, were you then like editing that batch, or did you just film it all and then edited it in one? How did you?
No, I did it in batches. I guess to see how it was going along the way, and if there was something that I needed to change in the editing process. So you know, I did it all in iMovie, and yeah, I did it in iMovie. So all of those little features and things and editing tools, they're all available in that app. So it was really great to use. And I, you know, for anybody that was thinking of doing something like that, I'd really just recommend researching into what the app offers, that you're, you know, what you're using, what the app actually offers, what tools and editing tools it has available. Yeah. So I was editing those as I went, and then adding to it, you know, adding to the storyline until I got to the end.
Yeah. And
Mm.
you found that had all the suitable functions that you needed to do what you wanted? Was there anything that it couldn't do for you?
iMovie.
Yeah.
No, I was really happy with it. It was just working, you know, again, my sort of tech sort of limitations, but you know, you're just working it out, working out, oh yeah, okay, well, I like that sort of font, and it can drop down, or it can do this, or it can, you know, all the different features that it does. And it was really quite fun in the end once I'd kind of worked it out and gotten through jumped over the hurdles, I guess, each step of the way. So I think, you know, if I were to ever do another one, I'd be going into it with, you know, a clearer kind of idea of what to actually do. Yeah. But, you know, yeah, really, really a good learning process, the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, do you have an idea to do another one? Is that sort of?
Oh, no, Amy, not yet. No, I'm still recovering.
Have people inquired? Like, because so many people, there's so many great reviews on it on your Etsy store, and there's like, yeah, it's been so well received. Have people been saying we want to know this next, Sarah, or anything like
Um,
that?
I don't know. I think if I found something else that there was enough interest, and I thought it was a valuable sort of learning experience for somebody, sure. But I'm not just going to go making tutorials willy-nilly about the place. You know, there's lots of information out there for people to learn, and you know, there's, you know, a definite interest in people wanting skills. They want skills to be able to take forward into their own practice. And I think if, you know, if I found something else that people were really interested in, and I thought it was a valuable thing for people, well, I would probably consider it. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But at the moment, no. I want to make my pots.
Yeah. Well, so I just want to see if I have any other questions about the tutorial. Well, yeah, you're selling it on Etsy. So it's on your shop, which is Sarah Murray Ceramics on Etsy. And you can also find you on Instagram that will take you to that.
Yeah,
And yeah, and then you use that to deliver it. Just let interested people.
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
it was all filmed in iMovie. So that whole thing filmed and edited in iMovie, and then because I sell online on the Etsy platform, I had to think about how I was going to deliver the end result, how I was going to do that. So, you know, again, there are limitations. Like Etsy, the files can only be so big, and of course I've got this gigantic, you know, video to upload. So how was I going to do it? So I looked into a few different things, like having a link to like a private YouTube channel, perhaps, that sort of thing. But I really wanted it to be self-managing. I didn't want it to have to be another job. The whole idea was that, you know, this would provide me with an additional source of income as well, and I could carry on making my pots. You know, there's a lot of, as you know, downtime when you're a potter in making, and you know, yeah. So I wanted it to be self-managing. I didn't have to allow people access to this or da 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 da. I just wanted it to take care of itself. So yeah, Vimeo was a good option for that. So that's just a video hosting platform. So once I had the finished video, I then uploaded that whole thing to the Vimeo platform, and it was a password protected video. So on Etsy, I made my listing, and then Etsy deliver once a person has purchased the tutorial. It is then just automatically delivered to them via Etsy. So that's a PDF file with a clickable link and a password, and then they can have access to that forever and a day, however many times they want. Yeah, so that's how it sort of happens, or happened. Yeah.
It's a very smooth process.
Yeah.
Going through the process that I did, purchase there, link there. I'm watching it straight away.
Yeah.
And I think, that's so important, isn't it? That's just like very
and
smooth.
It's easy for people. And most of the time it has been. I think the one thing that I would change about that whole process is that so many people do not see the password. They don't see it. I thought it was really obvious where I'd put it, but a lot of people don't see that. So I often get messages, oh, I've gone to I think they just see access tutorial here and they just go boom, straight there and hit the link without actually seeing what the password is, and they get to Vimeo, and of course Vimeo is asking them for a password. So yeah, I guess that would perhaps be something that I'd change about it, but generally, yeah, I'd say probably 75% of people would, see it as it is and follow the.
And then it's a great thing, like you said, like you've done it. I mean, a hell of a lot of work to do it, but then it's self-managed. So apart from maybe sharing the password to some people that can't, it's like just, doing its thing there.
Away in the background, and it's something that's already produced. I've put the work into it, and I don't have to sort of physically produce something again, which is great. And it's also, just around that whole idea of audience building, it's opened up my audience to not just people that are interested in my ceramics, but a whole audience of people that are makers or newbie potters, or they're just wanting to try something new, or they're I've had high school teachers purchase it as a teaching resource. I've had people that are they run their own ceramic classes and they're looking for different decorating techniques to show their students, or so it's opened up that whole to a whole new audience of people that I didn't have before, which I guess was the whole idea behind the grant proposal. And yeah.
And was Southeast Arts happy with the outcomes, and did you have to write a report to them and equip
so I had to sign off on it that it was done, and that was all, tick tick, great. I gave the stats on like my audience growth on MailChimp, but also Etsy stats that I get of sales that have come in. And also my Instagram kind of went a little bit viral as well, which was that's audience building as well. I got a lot of new followers because of it.
Awesome. So I'm definitely going to have the link below where you can check this out on Sarah's Etsy, and you can go and you can purchase it and you can educate yourself and like have a wonderful time watching Sarah do her thing. It is awesome.
Sarah being Sarah.
And so let's like go back to what do you make? I mean, we sort of jumped in with all of the
we jumped into
what do you make, and why do you make the things that you make?
Okay. So my ceramics are mostly driven to make domestic wear and functional wear, I guess. Everyday things that you'd use, in life, cups, bowls, all of those things that, use every day, but I like to decorate. I'm a decorator, and so I like to use those surfaces as, you know, they're little canvases, and I like to think that, you know, when somebody buys a cup from me, it's like buying a special little piece of art that they can use every day, and yeah, makes them smile.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how did you get into clay?
Okay. So must be nearly 12 years I've been potting for. My kids went off to school. I've always been a maker in some capacity. So before ceramics, I had 2 children. I've got twins. So they were at home, and I was sewing mostly for about 5-6 years. Ladies' clothing and using vintage fabrics and textiles. So I've come from more of a textile and fibre background, I guess. So when the kids went off to school when they were 5, there was a class being offered at the Bega Valley Potters, and it was just a small class, and the kids had chuffed off to school, and I suddenly had time to look at doing something. I'd always bought handmade ceramics from, you know, that we've always purchased from potters. So I really wanted to try ceramics, and it was a good opportunity. It was only 2 hours a week that was being offered, and they were looking to boost their membership at the Valley Potters, and it was an open studio sort of situation that was being offered by a former TAFE teacher there, Brett, and so he was leading sort of just a open class where you could come if you had an idea, and he would help guide you through that whole process with his, you know, his knowledge. And so I started doing that, and started off coiling a plant pot, and I hated it. I thought I would be a hand builder, and I hated it. Well, I didn't hate it, but it was just so slow, and I was like, oh gosh, when do we get to the decorating part? So I realized quickly that I wanted surfaces to decorate, I guess. Yeah. So I moved to the wheel, and actually I did a couple of classes with Janaki a long time ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think it was 4 2-hour classes that she was offering there. There was 3 or 4 of us that did the class. And then quickly bought a wheel and practice, bought the kiln, and away you go.
Wow. And so when did you sort of get to a point where you thought, I want to share this work, I want to put it out there in the world?
I am. I think it's been always a natural kind of thing for me to do. Like, I was selling on Etsy my ladies' clothing for quite a few years, so that was just a natural transition for me to have an Etsy shop selling my ceramics as well, when I, once I thought that they were good enough, I guess. So that was just a natural kind of progression. But pretty early on, I was approached by the Design Files to represent Etsy Australia in promoting handmade ceramics. So that was a pretty big opportunity very early on, and maybe too early on, if I look back on it. I made some work that was sent to Melbourne and photographed and representing Etsy Australia. That was, you sort of thrust out there then, really. And you either step up or you don't, I guess. And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
And so how the Design Files find you, Sarah?
So they flew how did they find me?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, how did they know about your work?
Know about me. I'm not quite sure. I guess Lucy, was going through the, people that were on Etsy selling ceramics. And, I think my work was probably, even back then, it was pretty different. It was a decorated surface that was probably quite different to what was already being made. or I don't know. I decorate. I've used colourful colourful surfaces, and I guess they stand out. Yeah, in amongst things.
Yeah, and I think on your forms too, because your forms, you have great finesse. Your handles are beautiful.
Oh,
Handles are so
thank you, Emma.
goddamn, goddamn.
I'm so proud of my handles. I really am proud of my handles. It's taken a
Yeah.
long time to get to a point where I'm really happy. And I remember when I was making, like years ago, and Brett, he could be quite harsh sometimes, I guess, but he would say, Sarah, those handles really aren't good. And I would be so offended because I was like, oh no, they're funky handles. But over time, and you realize that form and function are really important, and a cup that doesn't have a good handle won't get used or get put in the cupboard. So it's a
Yeah.
really important thing to have. So I'm really proud of my handles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people take a close look at Sarah's handles because, yeah, they're real. It's so hard. I mean, I did like throwing a million years ago, lots of handles, pulling the handle,
Yeah.
and it's a real skill,
Yeah.
and there's so many points to them, and so
Yeah.
just sort of adding in there, yeah, I think Lucy from Design Files would have maybe been seen these amazing surfaces, but they're on these very very sort of solid, grounded forms of integrity, that you make. And so I think that's such a beautiful combination. Like there's such a grounding of skill there with these surfaces that are quite innovative.
Thanks, Amy. That's really nice. But yeah, I think when I first started, it was all about surface. But that as the longer you work, you come to appreciate the skill that people have to make pieces that are both beautiful to look at and functional as well. And it's a really important thing, especially when you're making domestic wear. It needs to be thought out, and
Yeah,
and work as well as being beautiful
totally.
and
I
nice
think,
to hold.
what was the last thing you said? Sorry.
It also needs to be comfortable and nice to hold. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I actually think it's, sometimes people say, oh, there's functional work, there's sculptural work, well,
mm,
functional work is totally sculptural at the same time, but
yeah,
I think it's actually harder because there's sort of, if something is so intimate with someone,
mm,
there's nowhere to hide. If a handle's off, there's nowhere to hide. If a bowl is off,
yeah,
nowhere to hide. But sculpture can hide. Some sculpture can hide a lot, within that. So I
yeah.
think it's just an amazing thing to pursue and see the standard that you do your work at. So it's interesting that you said you were already like well attuned to Etsy through the clothing
Mm,
that you made.
mm,
So you knew that platform, so it was sort of a
yeah,
natural transition.
yes, it was.
And so from the beginning, you mostly were selling your work online yourself. Did you ever put it into outlets or stockists or shops?
Yeah, I actually, so I was featured on the Design Files, and then suddenly you're getting emails from people wanting to stock your work. So I was, and that happened for me. So for many years, my little Etsy shop it didn't have a whole lot of work available online, and I was doing a lot of wholesale orders for regional gallery shops. I did work for the National Gallery. I did, Shepparton Art Museum, all of these kind of places, Goulburn Regional, design stores up and around and everywhere. So my little Etsy shop took a bit of a hit there because I was focusing sort of mostly on the wholesale customers, I guess, which was great because that really did get my work out there as well into the public sort of arena. So people that were in Queensland would see it, people that were in yeah, which we live in the middle of nowhere here, Amy. Like we're so between metropolitan areas. So that was a good thing to do, I think, when I was starting, was to get it out there. And then the turning point for me, and online was, I did sell online, of course, but just not as much as I do now, which is mostly online, and I really don't do a whole lot of wholesale anymore. But the turning point for that was when COVID happened, and galleries closed, and some of my clients, they had to shut the shop doors. So yeah, that sort of happened. There was a customer that I had in Sydney, in Brisbane, shop in Brisbane, and she had a very large order placed with me, and she had to shut her shop doors. And I said, look, it's okay, don't worry, I can, you're not obliged, I'm not going to ask you to pay for it. So I popped that work online, and of course everybody was at home on their computers at that time, and I was able to resell the work very quickly online. So yeah, I guess that was the turning point for me, and having mostly an online store, which is what I have now. Yeah.
And you like doing that sort of where you can, it's more you. I mean, you have to wear more hats, I suppose, than Sarah, in that you're making it, photographing it, putting it on Etsy, you're posting it, you're following up.
It's a lot of work, but I think I've been doing it for so long now that I've sort of developed a system where it's pretty easy. And Etsy is really, it's such an easy platform to work with. It's a very simple process, and they keep updating that and making it more streamlined all of the time. And they take their cut as well, but I think it's totally worth it, because it's opening you up to a whole international kind of audience, which is great. I send a fair bit of work overseas these days.
Have you ever thought about, well, is there any thoughts to like, oh, I should have my own website, my own shop? Or you're thinking, no, Etsy's doing a really good job for me?
I just don't see why I'm really happy with Etsy, to be honest. Possibly to have a website with bio information and all of that stuff as a go-to point, and people can read about you. But Etsy, and I guess, I don't know, I haven't looked at it, maybe I should, but having a link there on that website to the Etsy shop, as my shop site, if you want to buy, well, that's the link, and it takes you to the Etsy shop. Maybe that's something to look at. So yeah, could do that, Amy.
I think you should totally have a website.
What do you think?
Yeah, it doesn't have to have doesn't have to hold the shop. You can
it's an interesting thing, with the sort of with Instagram now these days. Like, I just get direct messages from people that want to contact me, or it's such an easy, it's an easy avenue for people, I guess. But there could be something that I'll look into for sure.
And I recently saw a beautiful piece of yours. It was one of my favorites in the exhibition at Seka. Is it Seka or Seka? Seka.
I say Seka.
Seka, yeah. Southeast Centre for Contemporary Arts in Bega. There was
Find me this piece.
Awesome.
I picked it up the other day. The exhibition finished, so that's the one.
Oh, okay. Oh, because it wasn't a selling exhibition, was it, in there?
No, it wasn't. No.
Okay. It was exhibition of the Killing It crew and the Southeast exchange program.
Yep.
Am I saying that right? And there was a great show at Seka.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a great show. Ran for a couple of months and only finished end of last month. Yeah,
and it was oh God, we need another conversation for this, but I just want to touch on the residency that you were awarded as part of that. We'll totally have another conversation about the residency. But Sarah was awarded this amazing residency opportunity at Killing It in Sydney for was it about a month or how?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. So it was excellent.
And what were the highlights of it for you?
Well, I guess just on the, I went there to explore Maiolica decoration. So something that was out of my usual realm of decorating, and that I find difficult to fit into my making schedule, because it's such a different, it's a different clay, it's a different glaze, it's a different firing range, it's a different decorating process. So finding time to just stop your normal routine of making and switch to something else, to try it, to do those tests, to, you know, work the whole thing out. That's a difficult thing. So that's what I went to Sydney to do, which was great. It was really great. And, you know, everything in Sydney, I loved it. I fell in love with Sydney. Loved it. One of the highlights, I think, also I did a workshop while I was there at Kilnet, so an in-person monoprinting workshop, which was really nice. It was, I think there was 5 or 6 of us, five people that participated, and yeah, it was a really nice thing to see, you know, to step away from online and to see people's excitement on their faces in person when they're peeling back a monoprint or something that they've created. And it's like, oh, you know, there were some really great photos sort of captured, it was really nice. And, you know, those people they still follow me on Instagram and give me a little like or a little message, and it's really sweet. Yeah. It was a nice time. I loved Sydney, and I loved my time there.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Mm.
So what are you working on now?
What am I working on? I am working on some postcards for the postcard exhibition in Bega at Spiral Gallery. Yeah. So I normally leave it too late, and I may have left it too late. We'll see how we go. But I'm going to do some ceramic ones, yeah, for this exhibition.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I haven't done ceramic ones before, I don't think. I did paintings a few years ago, and then I didn't get any in last year. I missed it. But this year I'm trying to get just a little series of ceramic postcards done. And am I allowed to mention our little?
Yeah, mention it.
I can. Oh, good. I wasn't all sure if I was allowed to. So yeah, just sort of starting in the starting process of making some pieces for Wedge, for a little group show that'll be in the old coach? Is it the old coach or Custom House?
Custom at Fremantle Customs House. Yeah, the Australian Ceramics Triennale.
Yeah, the Triennale.
Yeah,
a group show that I'm very lucky to be part of. Actually, I'm very, very humbled and honoured to be part of it, with Amy and Sarah Ormond and Jenna Ferris. So the 4 of us representing our beautiful far south coast region of New South Wales. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
You're working as well.
Got to get my butt into gear. Yeah. But I'm so excited and humbled to be in this company as well. Yeah. And so we all live, you know, relatively close in this little pocket. And and we're all so great. Like, I'm just going to say that I think we're all just making really cool stuff. Well, not I haven't made a lot, but I just love all the work that we make. It's very diverse work too. But like we're representing over there, and we're going to have an exhibition over there. And
you're going over?
I'm going. Sarah Ormond's going.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah. Are you going to go?
Oh, I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, because there was a chance that perhaps
it's actually on my birthday weekend, which is quite funny. October 3rd is my birthday, so
okay,
maybe it could be a nice birthday present for myself.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that too, and it's a great thing to sort of be working towards. And and so well, thank you so much for your time today, like talking about sort of the ins and outs of your workshop, the online workshop. The details will be below if people want to look at that and purchase it, and I would recommend that you do. At whatever level you are, it's so valuable, and like it's just like a breath of fresh air to watch it. It's really fantastic.
Thanks, Amy.
And check out Sarah on Instagram. I'll pop the link below too. And yeah, we're going to get to work in the studio and make our beautiful stuff for Fremantle. And and let's do another one of these soon on a different topic, maybe more on the residency or some other topic too, because I think you got so much to share, and I love chatting with you.
Oh, thanks, Amy. It's been really nice.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Good to catch up.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Outside the post office.
Yeah, always outside the post office, man.
I'm always meeting Sarah outside the post office at our local post office, where we ships in the night, in the day we cross.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Sarah.
See ya.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.